Hey guys, it's Zumpr. I'm back with the long-awaited review of Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. Not because people want to see this, but because people want to get it over with. Not like people care. But where's my water? Okay. So, if you're wondering why the screen is in widescreen and not in the little 1990s 6040 by 480 resolution that I usually use, it's because I am taking a different review style on L video with I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of sit here and talk. There's like bullet points. I really don't have a script, but you know, the moral of the story is this game wasn't worth my time. So I'm gonna make a review that was about as quality as the game was. But no, I won't usually do this for other games because like, yeah, a lot of uncut stuff like this. But because I played worse games. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, this game, just to give some background for those of you who don't know, this is, actually, no, I don't think it is. I was going to say this is one of the most stretched out series. I feel like this is why I quit the Playthrough Fun with Friends review highlights discussion series. Because this is one of the most stretched out series I've ever played in my life. But this isn't, that's for the discussion video. This is the review. This is going to be a little bit more professional. But this is going to be fairly unedited. And there I may throw up some game footage from time to time. But it's just kind of going to be me talking about the game. It's going to be kind of unfiltered, unscripted. I mean, like I said, I have bullet points, and I gave each section a score. And I just got to say that I'm ready for DKR month in 2019. And the new upload routine. Actually, I am ready for DKR. I haven't played DKR in like a year. So that's going to be nice. But I'm ready for, I'm kind of sad because I went into this game and as a kid I played it, didn't have a memory pack, so it's funny, I had to get a memory pack for Nascar 99 and this game, but all the bad third-party games need memory packs. You know, you'd think it's like just code in a save system. It's not that bad, but obviously wasn't worth their time. But you know, you had this great game that I played as a kid. I was only ever able to get through about the first 2 levels, and then by then I'd have to get off the video games and go play with that outside thing, and go actually talk to the sun and like have contact with the outside world. It was a real bummer, if you had asked me. But you know, so I'd only get about 2 levels in as a kid, and it was a good experience. And so whenever I came to review this game, my nostalgia glasses came on, and I was like, you know, this could be pretty interesting. But, oh yeah, also I'm going to be kind of holding the mic because it might make it more fun. I don't know. But, yeah, so if you don't know, I have a blue Snowball Ice. It's like $50. I would highly suggest it. It's very nice. And then a Dragon Pad. Sponsor me. I'm just kidding. No, I really like it. It works very well. It's very good sound quality. Has nothing to do with Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. But it's nice. I also have a little bit of a cold. But it should be okay. And my throat was sore, but I'm okay now. But yeah, so I wanted to like this game, but then I played it, and it was good, and then I hit the final boss, and it was not good. So that's why the playthrough ended there. Anyway, we'll get into the story, and I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to state the score, and I'm just going to explain why, because usually I explain why, and then I give the score, but I really don't care. Though I care about the review. I want the video to be good. This game was a game. For sure. It was an N64 third-party game. But, so to start off with story, it gets a 2.5 out of 5. Because, you know, there was an in-game story, you know. You've got Professor Pac, and he gives Miss Pac-Man the Pactrometer, or whatever. But then he gets sucked into the mirror, and Mesmeralda goes to Halloween Town, and the haunted Halloween castle or whatever. So there was a story. It was kind of interesting. Mesmeralda was always a cool villain because she was creepy, but I didn't know what she looked like because I'd never seen her. And she looks completely different than that little, like she looks symmetrical in that photo, and then like in that little black silhouette. But then you get the green version, and her nose is freaking half of her body, which is okay. But and yeah, it's just kind of, you've got the story in kind of sections. You get a lot of story at the beginning, and I think there's a couple cutscenes. There's a cutscene near the end, whenever you get to the haunted Halloween, you're like, you're almost there, go finish it up or whatever. If I remember correctly, I don't know. And then there's that cutscene where she gets all of your pack stuff, but doesn't have the Mesmeralda key or whatever. So then you have to, the worst part of the game, you have to go back and do all the crap. Which, fun fact, I didn't do because it sucked. But yeah, so you get like past the desert level, and you're like, why am I doing this anymore? Though I will say that I think I wrote here that the game, it kind of was a lack of engagement. Like, the story wasn't super involved. But then again, when I think of lack of engagement and like whenever I think of a good story, I think of Ocarina of Time. That's kind of unfair to compare a Nintendo first-party game to a third-party, like, supporter game or whatever. That's Pac-Man, and it has no story. But no, I think the story was okay. That's why I got 2.5 out of 5. It was there. It just was there. It wasn't really engaging. You know, before every world, he'd be like, this is the ice world. Look out. It's ice. And then he'd be like, look, it's Chinatown. They've got China. And they'd be like, it's haunted Halloween. Mesmeralda's here. Like, they didn't really, it was just like stating facts. And so it was a good documentary, but it wasn't a good, man. My right nose is just clogged. But, so yeah, the story was okay. It just wasn't great. But my favorite part of the game, gameplay and controls. I will say one shining light. And to give its grade ahead of time, it's a 3.1 out of 5, which is kind of gracious, but I had to be gracious somewhere. And because the controls honestly carry this section, because they're so simple. Like, you don't use any buttons. You just use either the D-pad or the joystick. Though I would suggest the D-pad, because since you're not moving in 8 directions or however many directions the D-pad can move in, 360 directions technically, you're only moving in 4, so the D-pad is a little bit better. It's like one of the few games that uses the D-pad as like a major source of control. I think it's the only one, maybe. But so you've got the D-pad, it's pretty good. But then you've got the D-pad's kind of iffy. I think that's because the D-pad wasn't always it was just kind of there because it was, oh no, I dropped it. I want to make sure is this thing unplugged? I don't think it is. But the D-pad, okay, that came out wrong. The D-pad was always just kind of there to be there. Let me see, could I just, like this, there we go. Yeah, the D-pad was, I can't believe I just figured that out. The D-pad was just kind of there to be there as like a source of some controller mapping or whatever, but I don't think it was really created that well, because they intended the player to use the joystick more, and they wanted their game creators to or publishers or whatever to be like, hey, use the joystick, you know, it's a new controller. And so yeah, it is simple and easy. It's just the joystick or the D-pad. I mean, it's not that hard. But I think the C buttons can zoom the camera in and out, but like, you don't really need that. But and I will say the grip is actually it's one of the few times, here, I'll set this down real quick. It's one of the few times I've ever actually seen, like, somebody who's never played an N64 game before or used an N64 controller. The way they always grab it is, they always grab it, I don't know if this is on the screen, but they always grab it like this. They never, and of course, I can understand why they would do that, because, you know, Xbox is always like this or whatever. But this is the one time where if you grab the controller like this, you're actually doing something right. So, because you just move like this. Even though this doing kind of right and down, kind of, because you're kind of pressing both at the same time. It doesn't really work that well. But, and the joystick is, once you go from playing to the D-pad to the joystick's like too finicky. So you'll be holding up, or you'll be holding like upright, and like 50% of the time it'll send you right, 50% of the time it'll send you up. So usually D-pad is the more reliable of the two controls, but not by much. But that's one of the few times where somebody who has never played an N64 game can grab the controller correctly. So that is nice, but other than that, it really just, a Pac-Man game doesn't really work on the N64. It looked, in my opinion, it looked very nice. You know, and it, due to the controlled, like, camera angle, it didn't really have to look, like, super great, but the details they had were very cool. In every world, I kind of had fun looking at the background or whatever. But, other than, like, the background looked great, but, like, that's about it. I mean, it's not very extensive controls-wise, so it's simple, but it kind of reduces exploration, which was kind of the point of 3D. Like, it was a lot easier to hide Easter eggs and stuff, because you had so much more to explore. And so it was good. That's why I got a 3.1. But I mean, the D-pad was kind of finicky. The joystick was worse, and you couldn't like have any power-ups or special abilities. It was just like more health and grab the fruits and grab the dots. And for as simple as a concept as that is, it failed so bad. Like, one of my major gameplay problems was that you get to the end of the game and you fight the final boss, Mesmeralda or whatever, and then she just takes all your stuff and tries to go get her Mesmeralda key, and she gets all your stuff. And instead of beating her, you have to go back to other levels that you played, which the first time playing through them, you're like, that was okay. Glad I don't have to do that again. And then you have to go do that again, and you're just like, well, like, literally, I got stuck on the desert levels. One, because originally I thought you had to 100% the game to finish it, but later on I learned that you only have to, like, you can miss, there's like 50 or 45 total stars, and you only have to get like 40 or 42. But I mean, other than that, like, you have to go through every level. Like, say on like the first or second level, you get all the dots you can, but then you see this big blue block that has the Mesmeralda key, and you're supposed to put it in there. Well, so you beat the level, you don't have all the dots, so you don't get a star. Well, then you go through the entire game, which takes a while, and you come back, have to get all the dots again just to go get like 20 extra 20 extra dots in some Mesmeralda room. And it's just, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, who cares? And I don't know. I thought it could be better, and it wasn't. And I'm kind of bummed. But, like, that was it would have been cooler if there were, like, separate, like, special Mesmeralda stages where you go through, like, 5 stages of more difficult puzzles. Like, almost like a DLC nowadays. But, you know, it wouldn't be DLC because it was actually a good game. Instead of having to have all this downloadable content or whatever. But you have, like, 5 extra levels that are more difficult and more challenging. And it leads you to the true, like, you go through her tower or whatever. And you go and find Mesmeralda or whatever. But no, you go back through all the levels, have to do extremely difficult time attacks, which are, like, it's dumbly difficult, if that's even a phrase, or dumbly is a word. But I want to say, like, redundantly difficult, but that doesn't really make sense. But it's just, it's like you literally basically have to task. You have to pick up all the times, all the little clocks, and some of these levels, it says, like, finish in, like, 4 minutes or whatever. And so the level already takes like 10 minutes to go through, and now you have to go through it in half the time and pick up all the extra clocks and all this stuff. And there's like, the first stage was okay because it was fairly simple, and I beat it with like 11 seconds left. But then the rest of the stages, it's just like there's so many parts to each stage that it gets, I don't know, it was just bad. And there was a point where I was like, okay, I won't do the time attacks. I'll only come back and do the ones that I have to do. I'll go collect everything else. So I start collecting everything else. And then I do one of those, I'm holding up, but it thinks I'm holding right. And so I go right, zip on a zipper, and hit a checkpoint. I can't go back, and the Mesmeralda key spot was right there. I'm like 10, 15 minutes into a level, just making sure I have everything, and all that time was to waste. And literally, I just turned off the console and left. And for a while there, that was why I didn't want to make a video. It's because I didn't want, one, I didn't want to make any of these games or whatever, and two, I didn't want to make any of the time attack or Mesmeralda key videos. It's just the worst part of this game. And it ruined it. Like, gameplay and controls probably couldn't have gotten like a 3.5, maybe a 4, maybe even a 4.5 if it just ended at the first boss fight, but it didn't. And I'm gonna scoot up. It was really dumb, and it was just a horrible way to have the game be like that. And it was unnecessary. It didn't have to be that difficult. It's basically like unnecessary padding, and it was horrible padding, by the way. It was like getting a memory foam thing for your mattress, and it's a rock, literally. Which usually sometimes that's how memory foam works, but like sometimes when it heats up, it's okay. But like this rock doesn't heat up; it's literally just rocks. And it was just like, you know, I was okay with my mattress, but now it has rocks on it, and I was like, okay, for that analogy. But yeah, it messed up the flow of the game, and it really ruined it. But you know, Miss Pac-Man was an okay experience to the first boss. If it had just rolled credits right there, I would have been okay. It was also a little annoying that you couldn't, like, it would have been better if you could have finished the game and then with like 56% and then had an incentive to go back and like get 100%. but instead of it being incentive, it was just forced on you, and I think that's what's really annoying to me. But moving on from gameplay and controls, there's music, which gets a 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't that bad, but I will say there was only one good song, and that was Cleopatra, for like a level song. The ice song was so repetitive. It had like a 20-second loop, 20 seconds of music, and it just looped. So if you were on a level for 20 minutes, you're hearing 20 seconds of music for 20 minutes. And that sucked. And then you've got Chinatown was pretty similar, and Haunted Halloween was pretty similar. None of the tracks really stuck out, but Cleopatra is one of the best video game soundtracks ever, at least on the N64 specifically. But it's crazy how they had such a blowout song, and then the rest is kind of It's like they really only invested in that first desert world. Like, you would only play that without a memory pack, and then you just turn off the console and go on with your life. Because it's like the rest of the game is just unfinished. The music could have been better, the gameplay could have been better, and they were just like, oh, they'll only get to like the desert, and then they won't have a memory pack, and then they'll have to go do something else and then turn off the console. So we only need to work on the desert level. But it annoyed me. I wish it was like better or whatever. The music, I guess it really barely gets a 2.5 out of 5, because like Cleopatra saves it. And sometimes the menu themes and like choosing a level, those are okay. Or like the Encounter Mesmeralda, those are good songs too. But there's like, out of a game that could have had like 10 good songs, it had like 2 or 3. So yeah. But moving on, selection and unlockables gets a 2.3 out of 5. And you'd think this one is maybe a little better, but it's not, than gameplay and controls, because selection and unlockables only really applies to multiplayer, and you kind of unlock stuff. You can unlock like bonus rounds. I think you just get those anyway, but I will say the bonus rounds compared to the other levels are probably the best parts of the game. Like there's this, I think it's Peer Pressure, and it's where you're on like a boat, and that was actually probably one of the better levels in the entire game. I really enjoyed that, and it's because you weren't confined to a maze, and so that was fun. You just try to rack up a high score or whatever. But you can unlock multiplayer stages over time. That's okay too. But after that, I mean, you don't unlock any more characters. Well, apparently you can unlock, I think in the PlayStation version, there's Puka from Dig Dug, but not in the N64 version, at least not from what I've seen. Probably nobody cared enough to get Puka or whatever. Probably if you like 100% complete the game, you might get it, but you really don't unlock any more characters or whatever. And then, so yeah, I mean, your selection is Miss Pac-Man for the single player, and as I'm about to get to on the multiplayer, you can't really the selection, yeah, there's 3 other characters, but like, multiplayer's not that much fun. But sorry to spoil it. But so yeah, that's it. You unlock a couple multiplayer stages. I think you unlock bonus rounds, but that might just be through playing the game. And then your selection on characters is just Miss Pac-Man. But moving into multiplayer, your selection widens a little bit. You get Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Baby Pac, and Professor Pac. And you have 3 game modes: Dot Mania, Da Bomb, and Ghost Tag. So this kind of helps selection and unlockables a little bit, because there is selection in the multiplayer, it's not in the single player. And each mode is okay, but once you've played it once, like with or without friends, you're like, that was fun. Like Da Bomb, I think I could play like maybe 2 or 3 rounds with friends. But then when you've got games like Mario Kart 64, even like, not that I have Mario Party, but like, I bet if I had Mario Party, GoldenEye, Smash, and even though Smash is and like Diddy Kong Racing, which most people, like besides myself, don't really like to play because it has like a high difficulty curve. Either you're good at it or you're not. Unlike Mario Kart 64, where the items make it more fair. There's definitely better multiplayer experiences. But yeah, like Ghost Tag, Da Bomb, Dot Mania, they're okay. They're just, it's kind of generic. Like, there are just more unique experiences on the N64. So, but no. So, I was gonna say, there's also one other mode, and I meant to make a video on this, but just by then I was like, I'm done with Miss Pac-Man, Maze Madness, and it's there is a classic mode where you play the classic Pac-Man. I'm guessing it would be okay, but I played it like for 5 minutes and I was like, this is kind of boring. It's like playing the arcade Donkey Kong on Donkey Kong 64. I mean, it's okay, but it's like, I could live without it. So, but no, so multiplayer is okay, 2.5 out of 5. It's not a 0, because I could go back and play it, like, I could play each mode once with my friends, and then it'd be like, hey, let's move on to another game that we can actually have fun on. But, no, multiplayer, it's just okay. And so, the end grade, well, how long? I bet this is like a 30-minute video. Only 20 minutes so far. This might be edited down a little bit, but... So yeah, the end grade on Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness is a 2.5 out of 8, or 2.58 out of 5. And so far, I checked this is the worst grade on a review as of November 17th, 2018, or like as of the regular review system, so like schedule, so between Pilotwings, Pokemon Snap, Nascar 99, and Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness, this one's the lowest one. It's the only one to get under 3 points. I think Pokemon Snap got like a 3.1, and NASCAR got like a 3 point something, but they all, I don't know if any of them got above a 3.5 either, but I've just been playing some mediocre games on the N64, it's moral of the story. But I'm really sad, and I don't mean if I kind of have like a like connotation on this video. Also, that's probably because I'm a little congested, but I'm just kind of bummed, because this game, I kind of had high expectations. Wasn't super high, because, I mean, it wasn't like playing Mario 64, or Mario Kart 64, or Conkers, or something. But it was just like, I mean, I had to get experience with this as a kid, and I kind of wish I'd left it that way. Like, Pilotwings, I was a little scared, because it was fun, but then I would get stuck on chicken dive or something. It was like the second hang glider level. I could never beat it as a kid. And so I never got to unlock any of the special stages. And then that actually turned out to be a good game. A solid, like, installment on the N64. I really enjoy that game. I can go back and play that now. And I actually, over these last months, I've looked back on those videos and that review and those highlights and all that stuff for motivation to make this video. Because of how good and how, like, pure the content was. Just how much fun it was. How much fun I remember it being. Like, the fun with friends. If I ever kind of need some motivation for like fun with friends or some ideas, I just look back on those, because it was dorky and it was so cringy to an extent, but that's what made it funny. And even if it's cringy at the time, you look back and it's like, I mean, it's funny because it's cringy, and I remember making that or whatever. And I think I was hoping that this game would be like that, you know. I never really beat it as a kid. Maybe it'll be okay. And I feel like the more I played it, the more watered down it got. And it was just like, I don't know, it's sad. But that's the review for Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. It feels, I just hit the mic. It feels really weird because this is a completely different video style, especially for a review. It's almost like an update, and even more casual because I'm not even letting the mic sit down. I'll probably do updates like this from now on. But I'm just bummed. I mean, I wish I could have typed out a script, but I think I kind of like doing bullet points more because it's more uncensored. And I just love to, I kind of get to let my full opinion out. And I might do like a scripted review and an unscripted review on some games I really like Conquer. I might do that. I might do a unscripted review and then type a review and kind of give it a more official grade or whatever. But, I don't know. I will still put this grade in the books, but I may do reviews like this in the future where it gets like a rough grade or whatever. And then if I want to do a more specific grade, maybe like a year later, I'll re-review it and see if my opinions have changed or whatever. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. But, yeah, that's Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. Thankfully, with getting this out of the way, I will hopefully, I'm on Thanksgiving break right now, so hopefully we'll be able to edit this. It shouldn't be too hard to edit. But, hopefully I'll be able to get this out, get the discussion out, and then I'm moving on to DKR month, and I'm just moving on with the channel because it's get past this dark age of Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. Sadly, the last game in this whole original Zumpr series is the worst one. But thank you guys for watching. If you did, I know it's weird, it's uncensored, it's totally different video style, and I might throw some music in the background, maybe. I don't know, there's not a lot of good Pac-Man music, as I stated earlier, and it's kind of hard to watch these just like silent, no interest videos or whatever, but I had to get this out of the way. I had to finish the Pac-Man series, and I'm okay with it. I'm glad I was able, I was able to use this to try out a new video style and stuff. So, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning into your hotspot for 64 gaming, Zumpr, and I hope that my Diddy Kong Racing videos will be a weensy bit better. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.